Hey guys, Ryan Feroz Moto here. Today we're going to talk about the brake pads I have on the car, being the EBC RP1s and EBC Bluestuff in the rear of the car. So, as you guys saw in my previous video how I track prepped the car, this is what I have for my current season, with it being the spring and summer. I'm going to be rocking these guys all around and trying to give you guys my opinions and thoughts with it, since I do daily drive with this setup as well. So, first things first is brake dust. As a lot of people in my comments and everything telling me like, oh, is it low noise? Does it make brake dust? It's a track pad. There's really no way around it. You know, the main forefront and what I care about mostly is I can stop the car. So a lot of folks don't really care about that. They want to, you know, just street daily, garage clean these things. And I get it. It does suck to clean up all the brake dust all the time. But when it comes to getting in temperature with the car, on track, on the tollgate, on the street or anything, when you want them to brake, they brake. We'll talk about the EBC RP1s in the front first. So with these guys, they are a track pad. There's two types of compounds. There's the RPX brand and the RP1. I chose RP1 because it was slightly cheaper. And also, from what I was told in research, they built that brake in a way to kind of be soft with oversensitive brake servos on modern German cars. They even say it on their website, I believe, that it's kind of meant for the very overly sensitive and touchy brakes. And I do agree. This brake pad's very progressive and soft. When I first had them on, I thought there was an issue with them, but A, they weren't up to temp, B, my tires weren't up to temp. So there's a lot of things going on, and one thing I like to stress to people who run these tires and brakes, everything is about temperature. Coefficients of friction and how much heat these pads and tires can go through is what's going to save you and keep you alive on track. A lot of folks are, you know, not pushing that hard, which can maybe get away with stuff, but once you start getting actually fast in these cars, you're going to be laying really hard on the brakes and really hard on the tires. And if the pad compound and rotor compound aren't really in unison together and can, you know, survive in those temperatures, you're just going to completely obliterate and melt them. So I'll overlay some track footage here as you guys see. On the brakes and everything, no problem whatsoever. They did a great job and they actually wore pretty well. I keep the car in MDM mode since I'm not a hero here. I do know that MDM likes to eat the brake pad since it's always dragging it, kind of like with the Hondas and everything else has with their torque vectoring. So overall, it's really not too bad. I say, yeah, the dust is pretty rough. They do have a slight squeal. I want to say the OEM pads had a real loud, like, bus stop. These are more of like, how do you say it? More like a nail on a chalkboard or something. I mean, they're both not great noises, but one's almost like, kind of like a lathe when it's cutting into like a strip of metal. It's like the sound of something just kind of scraping or cutting into metal. So I mean, that's pretty much what's happening with the brake rotor and everything. So it's not a problem. I think the sound is a bit easier to digest than the stock ones. And I actually don't think they brake dust too bad. Compared to the stock ones, I mean, I'm already used to this abuse with how much dust it comes out. But overall, I think they do a great job. I'll try to show you guys how they are here. I've just been doing some runs that I'll show you guys on the channel from me driving. Overall, I think they are the right tool for the job. I think my rotors are going to be cooked after this year and season. The car's going to have probably around 50,000 miles by the time I'm done with this year, so it makes sense. It's about time to get those swapped out, but I'm gonna have them try to survive another couple of track days and track events, and it should be okay. On to the rear. So the EBC Bluestuff, this is the MDX compound. I got them from FCP Euro for the lifetime warranty. And one thing with these guys is it's kind of a dual duty pseudo track pad. Since the car is single caliper in the rear, single piston, I didn't really think you'd need that much crazy, you know, stopping power and everything. So if I could, I don't want to say cheap out or be a bit more shifty with what I'm putting in the rear, since they're still in the similar family tree of compounds, it should be okay. I've noticed a lot of Mustang guys in the forums actually run this, the EBC RP compound in the front and the EBC Bluestuff in the rear. It seemed to work well for them, and for me, I haven't had really any issues. I read on the forums that some people are saying square setups with overly aggressive brake pounds are gonna, you know, make the car really unsettled and squirmy. I never really had that issue, only in the wet, of course, because, you know, in the wet, I'm pretty much hydroplaning down the straight on the track, so that was a little scary, but that's really not to the brake, it's just not being able to have any grip on the ground. So I do say that they dust a lot more actually than the front RP1s. I think it's probably because it's a bit harder and it's gonna, you know, dust up a bit easier, or softer, I apologize. So really no complaints. I think I would run them again as a good dual duty tire. I do drive the car hard, so it's nice to just have something that's always there. It does stink that they do brake dust a lot, but it's really not an issue. So I'll show you guys again in the rear what I think about these guys. So that's them in the back. It's not a problem. If you guys saw my other video, I was talking about the brake wire sensor on the car, and those are actually giving me a pain, but I got that all sorted out, so it's okay. I'm pretty happy with my purchasing and my research. I think I did a good job of figuring out what is perfect for my use case and what is perfect for other people's use cases. Dual duty is kind of rough because there's such a compromise between, you know, going too overboard one way and the other, but I think I'm at that fine medium. Ideally, I'd like to swap back to you know, more streetable pad, since these just really aren't meant to be okay. I wouldn't say it's borderline dangerous, but yeah, when they're cold and everything's cold, you gotta really respect your braking distance. So once everything's up to temp, it really stops like a truck. Really, all that force, I mean, you're feeling G's as you're throwing forward. So I think it does a great job. I know a lot of people like to bash EBC, and I think it's due to them just using the wrong compound on the wrong car. You know, using a yellow stuff is not marketed as a track pad, it's marketed as like a fast street pad, and people are pushing on track and they're smoking and melting and they're wondering why, and it's just, the fact of the matter is the compound is just not built for that heat. So that's just my 2 cents on the matter. Please do your research before you get anything, of course. I'm just trying to give out some information that I think can help out the community. There's not a lot of coverage on these brake pads with these cars because everyone likes to go with the higher end stuff, which I mean, that's fine. I got these pads for I think like $330 in the front. The rear is FCP Euro, I think it was like $100, but some other pads are asking like $500–600 just for the front, and I'm like, you know, I'm not going for records here. I just want to get home in one piece and have a good time. So just got to find the deals, you have them out there, and just be resourceful. Hey guys, Ryan here. So we're going to talk about the brake pads and how they are on the road. As I was saying before, they do have a little bit of squeal. I'll see if you guys can hear it. So there is pretty much what you have to deal with. I don't think, like I said, it's anywhere near as bad as the stock brake pads, because those things were loud, like school bus loud, embarrassing, like, oh my god. I mean, these just sound like I need new rotors or something, which I probably, like I said, will end up needing soon, because they are forming a little lip. But overall, they're really not too bad to live with. The car and everything's up to temp right now, so they have adequate stopping force. I was saying before, there's really not too many issues living with the dual duty on the street. If you are just street driving, of course, I would not recommend running this pad at all. You're not going to be just getting up to the temperatures where you need to have this much braking performance. Yeah, the reason I went for it, of course, is the car's just so heavy, it generates so much heat in braking. I definitely want to have a dedicated platform and brake pad to actually deal with the work that I have up for myself. A lot of folks like to get away with, like I said, a lesser pad, but brake pads are not something I want to worry about when I'm going 140 miles down the straight on track. So it's good to just pay attention and really respect this car's limits. And once the car's set up properly, you can really do what you want. And that's the whole point. Build the right tool for the right job, and that's what I did with getting these brake pads. With the rear, like I said, it's nothing noticeably different that would make me like concerned or feel off with the brake pad bias. I'll do a practice brake here. Whoa. So yeah, you can definitely stop. And like I said too, a lot of it matters with the tire. I think it's important to actually do your research and mate what's proper with a proper tire with your brake pad. If you have a super aggressive brake pad and you're slamming on the brakes and you're triggering ABS, you're really having a compound that's too much for the brakes to actually grip and handle. So it is super important to figure out kind of where you're at with this limit. That's kind of why I went again with this pad. It's not a super bite your face off, rip it, stop, because I'm not running like a Super 200, RE71 RS, or a Nanking CRS. So it's really important that you have the right tool for the job. But that's just my 2 thoughts on these brake pads. If you guys have them, like I said, please let me know down below, and I'm looking forward to hear your thoughts. So I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace. So if you guys had experience with this brake pad compound and want to leave some information down below, please let me know. I'd love to talk about it in the comments. And if you guys enjoyed this automotive informative content, please don't forget to like, favorite, and subscribe. Really making a goal to get to 1,000 subscribers this year. I think we're already on track to doing really well with my recent content. So just want to say thank you so much for staying with the Feroz Moto family. If you guys enjoy this content, like I said, please don't forget to like, favorite, comment, and subscribe. That being said, Ryan Feroz out. See you guys.